As a young girl, I always loved hearing the story of Esther and always fascinated Esther's story, similar to Cinderella's story of a poor girl being the queen of a country. The Bible story of an orphan who grew up to be a courageous queen saving Israel from a cruel end. For a summary of those who do not know the story of Queen Esther, it's a story about a girl who was taken to the palace of King Xerxes, and from there she is selected to become a queen. The one who bravely works to save her own people from the cruel ideas of the enemy. But when we dig into this amazing story, there is so much more in it. So many powerful truths that we can find from the book of Esther. Something of great wisdom for today and realization that God still works in mighty ways for His people. More on who Esther is. Esther was born in Israel at a time when the captivity was happening as a consequence of their disobedience towards God. We read in Esther that she was an orphan. That means her parents were killed or died. They have died. And her cousin Mordecai had adopted her as his daughter. And also we read that they are in the land called Susa. Means it's a foreign land. So we see that Esther was not only a very ordinary girl, but she was living in a foreign land. Many of us might be listening to me who are living in a foreign land which is not your own home country. You might be an expat living in the Gulf countries, or you might be someone who is staying in US or UK, but your home country is not that. It's a foreign land for you. So we know what are the limitations of an expat. We do not have the same rights as a citizen of that country or a person of that origin. We have limitations. The priorities that are given to us is lesser. Even in the matter of holidays, there is a difference between the people of this country and those who are coming and staying as expat. So this Esther might be a girl, or her family could be a family that already have a low esteem, so low self-esteem. We can see that their esteem is so low. We see that her uncle Mordecai is telling her to keep her Jewish nationality a secret when she is being selected and going to the palace. She's asked not to say that she's a Jew. So that was the self-esteem that they had. It was so low. So what I learned from this is, as a young girl, God can use an ordinary young girl like Esther for a great purpose. So that shows that He has a plan for my life too. We might think, what can we do? We are just ordinary people. But God has great and greater plans. As I was thinking about the young girl called Esther, whose parents both have died, and because she was all alone, a cousin of hers takes up the responsibility and adopts her as his daughter. Yet, I feel deep within her she must have felt lonely. Let us just imagine, even if we have both our parents with us, or maybe one of our parents has died, how much void we feel when we are not with them. We feel that differentiation when our parents are not there. I was just imagining, even if Mordecai was loving him as much as his daughter, down deep within, Esther might be feeling lonely. That trauma time that she must have gone through, I wonder how she was not a rebellious girl. I feel when people are under such painful circumstance, when they go through such circumstances, they tend to ask God, they question God's goodness and become distrustful towards God. But Esther's heart was soft. She was kind. Nowhere in the book of Esther are we reading that she was fighting against God. She seemed to be such a tender young girl. So I felt Esther did not allow her circumstances to make her a bitter girl. That is what I learned from the book of Esther. The circumstances around us might be painful. The people around us might be poking with our words. But it is our attitude that matters. At times we might feel that no one cares for us. Recently I was reading a logo and it was saying that no one cares. And I was thinking, yeah, actually no one cares. And I just, 2-3 times I just said, actually no one cares. No one actually cares. Then it just struck me. Actually no one cares. That's the best thing. No one actually cares. So why don't we live the life that God has given us? Why don't we live life in our full? No one is caring anyways. So we just can do things the way God wants us to do. We just don't have to be worried. One more thing that I felt about Esther, about her not allowing her circumstances to make her a bitter girl, was that when Esther was taken for the king's beauty contest, it was not a beauty contest that we see now of Miss Universe or Miss World. It is not a beauty contest of such on that she filled in a form and was excited to be in the pageant and that she was selected for it. No, it was not that. They were forced into it. It was that she had no choice in this particular matter. Just imagine, she would lose her virginity in this process. Whether or not the king is going to choose her as his wife, she would become his property. Never allowed to return back to her normal life. A life where she can be a daughter to Mordecai. Her future was completely blank. She was completely, she did not know what will happen once she's taken there. It was not her choice to be in the beauty contest that king is going to conduct. Because she was seen as a beautiful girl among the other beautiful girls in the province, she was taken. She was arrested and taken home because she was a beautiful girl. How much she must have pained within, because she had so little control over her future. Already her past was painful and her future seemed dim. If it was me, I would have freaked out, because both past and future looks dim. But not Esther. She trusted God. In Esther chapter 2, it confirms that she is actually a very beautiful woman. Along with all the other virgins who are selected to the 12 months of beauty treatment, Esther goes into the harem. We can just imagine what the atmosphere will be inside that harem, with all these young ladies who are awaiting their one night with the king, and they are trying to be better than the other. What sort of catfight might be going on over there? But still, amidst all this, we can see that, we can read in the Bible that Esther and her humble spirit, she won favor in the eyes of all who saw her, including the king's servant who was put in charge to look after these ladies. And we see when the king summons a virgin, she is allowed to bring with her whatever she thought will make her attractive to the king or would impress the king. But we see Esther, when she is called, she takes nothing except what the servant is telling Esther, resulting in such a positive response from the king. I learned from this portion is, it is not the circumstances that confirm us. It is we who have to decide how do we behave. Out in that harem, all these girls are going through too many stresses. Because one night with the king means they lose their virginity, they lose their future. No one is going to marry these girls again. If the king doesn't select, that they are done. They just go into another harem of the ladies who have been rejected already. Their future is gone. So all of these girls are frustrated, and so they are trying to score above one above the other. In spite of that, Esther is showing the mildness in her. There are chances when everyone is black mouthing, we tend to join along the gang. But no, Esther did not. So we need to be careful how we deal with things, how we talk. Because our cousins or friends are doing this, we don't need to do it. We need to do what God wants us to do. We are selected for that. We are selected for a higher purpose. We should always remember that, and remember only that. There's nothing else that we need and we have. This video is too long now. I'll stop this video right now. The rest of the points I will upload in the next video. See you soon. God bless.